Derrick White, ladies and gentlemen. Hi there, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Thanks for spending it with us right here on Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. Good morning, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe.
Good morning, that dude. You know, I got a barbecue going on. I need some, I need a soft drink. I got like 12 cases of dew coming. Yeah. So don't worry about the soft drink. Got it covered.
See about that, but I would like to say before we get started, happy Memorial Day.
Yep.
And thank you to all the men and women who have served or are serving this great country in our armed forces. We appreciate you dearly.
We do. We salute you.
Yes.
Well said, gentlemen, indeed. Never forget the reason for the holiday, right? Shannon, so much here. What happened? What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, since we have a game 7, clearly the Heat lost. But Skip, I don't think the game really should have been that close. Boston was in control of that game late. They were up by 10 with a little over 4 minutes. They were up by 9 with just a little tad over 3 minutes. I'm like, well, we're about to win this thing going away. All of a sudden, it's we now because it's me against you. You like the Heat. I like the Celtics. I'm like, okay, we got this. And then one turnover, and then another bad shot, and one by Al Horford. I'm like, bro, are y'all literally gagging this thing away right before America's eyes, Celtics? Because that's what it looks like to me. And then Al fouled Jimmy Butler on a three-point shot, and Jimmy, in Jimmy fashion, goes and makes all three of them. I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe we were like basically 2 minutes away from having a game 7, and you guys just squandered it.
You were up 9 with 3 minutes.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm sitting pretty. Now all of a sudden I go downstairs and come back, and I'm like, hold on, what happened? Oh my goodness! I say, come on, Celtics. And then the inbound, they look, because the official at the time he got fouled said it was a 2, but obviously, Skip, they're gonna go review it to make sure they get it right, and it was a 3. And then they looked at the time of the foul. When he got fouled, it was 3 instead of 2.1. And so Jimmy makes the shot. And I'm like, oh, my, what are you going to draw up now, Joe Mazzulla? Obviously, everybody thought the ball was going to go to Jason Tatum.
Yep.
And he did a great job. He came, screws popped out. But in the process of popping out, he forgets about the inbounder. Skip, you know what? It's always that inbounder. You remember Carolina? And that three-point shot at the end of the game regulation? It's normally the inbounder that gets you. Shot goes up. Marcus Smart has it almost halfway down. And Derrick White crashes the board and puts it in with no time on the clock. It was an unbelievable play. And I believe the series. And I told you, Skip, I said, if they win game 5 by more than 12, I'm taking them to go win the next 2 games. I believe that's what's going to happen. Jimmy got going a little bit too late. He almost pulled it off, Skip, but he's missing shots that he made in his sleep against Milwaukee. Shots that he made in his sleep against the Knicks. Those shots now, all of a sudden, those little floaters are caroming out or hitting the front of the rim. It seems like his legs are starting to grow a little weary. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's the guy. Everything has to flow through him. It's almost like LeBron in 2018 with the Cavaliers. But the Boston Celtics, give them credit because, Skip, when you have a lead by 9 with 3 minutes to go, and all of a sudden you find yourself down with 3 seconds on the clock, you're like, damn. But they didn't give up. They crashed the glass, made a great play, and here we are, game 7. But the Celtics almost blew this. That's what happened. The Celtics almost blew it. It shouldn't have been this close.
Okay. Unfortunately, it is my turn. I agreed with everything you said except your breakdown of the last play. I'm going to shred that in a minute. But let me start with this. I still have not recovered from Saturday night. My wife is still not speaking to me because of Saturday night because I threw a fit.
Yeah.
And she walked in and said, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, what do I want to eat? Did you just watch? I was watching one room. She was watching the other. She was like, yeah, there's still another game. No, there's not. It's over. So
they don't, Skip, they don't wear it like you and I do, though.
Okay, I got it. That game, for me, just might have been the wackiest, nuttiest, craziest game I have ever tried to figure out what happened in. I couldn't even sleep on Saturday night. I couldn't figure it out because nothing about the game made sense. The freaking Boston Celtics shot the worst from 3 they have all year long. All year long. That's
20%.
what, 82 games? Let me get my stat here.
More than 80.
82 for the regular, and then
plus what?
What have they played?
7 against
21?
Philly.
Yeah, I can't.
That's 6. That's 13. How many is it?
Horrendous.
Atlanta played 6.
Yeah, there you go.
19
plus 82.
So
101 games. Not once have they shot as poorly as they did from 3. They shot 20%. Your guy, Jason Tatum, gave us another big goose egg Jason Tatum game. And I'm like, what are you doing, Jason Tatum? Are you that guy or not that guy? Are you back-to-back first-team All-NBAs or not? Shannon, he goes 0 for 8 from 3, and I'm like, what are you doing? I thank you, but what are you doing?
What about his partner at the law firm? He went 0 for 4.
0 for 4. So they combined to go 0 for 12. To Jason Tatum's credit, he didn't play good defense. He played great defense on Jimmy Butler, as did Derrick White. They took turns. Just making Jimmy Butler look.
They made him work.
They made him work. They just made him look awful. They made him look overwhelmed. They made him look intimidated. I tweeted that in the first half. He just looked intimidated by their defense. And he was just solo, good, hard-nosed, one-on-one, block your shot kind of defense because Jimmy doesn't have a whole lot of lift to him. He can't rise up over you and shoot up over you. He's an aging player. Shannon, until his late salvo with 2 minutes left, he was 3 for 19. 3 for 19. He was killing me. What if I told you on Friday that your Celtics would shoot 20% from 3, the worst they have in 101 games this year? What if I told you that? You would have said we lose, right?
Oh, yeah, you're losing.
Because they got that stat when they're plus 40%, then they're 38-2. Okay, everybody's 38-2 when they're over 40%.
And Miami shot 47% from 3.
They shot 47%. What if I told you it'd be 47% to 20%? You would have said on Friday, you would have said they lose.
Yeah, of course.
And what if I told you Jimmy Butler would go to the final 2 minutes of the game 3 for 19? You'd say, no, Miami's going to win. Right?
Yeah, Celtics go win.
I was out of my mind. Jimmy Butler, I was savaging Jimmy Butler on Twitter because I couldn't help myself. I'm over-emotional. I'm a little knee-jerk reactionary on Twitter. But I'm like, for once, the Butler didn't do it, right? Because he couldn't do anything. And I was saying Jimmy Butler was getting his Butler kicked by Jason Tatum because he was. I just looked at this and I said, what is happening here? And then the end of the game happened. And Jimmy Butler actually redeemed himself. He scored their final 10 points, the Miami Heat's, and it was extraordinary because all of a sudden, wait a second, they're 8 down, and then all of a sudden they're 1 up? Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
And he made 3 free throws. It's a nightmare situation, and I never like his free throws. I'm going to show them to you in just a minute because he shoots them so flat. He shoots those just push shots that just go straight. If you just know the physics of it, you're decreasing the area the ball can go in.
Right.
If you arc it, it opens up the whole basket, right? But he just shoots these flat free throws. Okay, so I'm going to show you. He shocked me by coming. Listen, that's the first playoff Jimmy sighting we've had since Game 2. That's why he was nothing in Game 3, but they didn't really need him. And then Game 4, no show. Game 5, no show. And here we went, right? Game 6. Okay, so I'm going to show you. He's 3 for 19 at this point, and he finally pulls up and shoots a three-point shot, which is not his forte, with conviction. Here it is. With conviction, he steps back and nails it. And then here he came, and he made the first one, and then he missed the second one. I'm like, well, that's it. That should be game over. And then here's your and one on Al Horford. It was a close call, but I think it was a foul. Then he goes to the free throw line and makes that one, and then here he is. 1, 2, little flat. And I'm thinking, I don't know if he can make this one, and he swished all 3 of them. That's big-time clutch shooting.
Sure.
And he's over there sitting just one stop. And Shannon. Okay, now for the breakdown of this final play. I like the defensive call because they told Strus to not face guard. He turned his back to Derrick White, who's been down the ball, who's clearly his guy that he's supposed to be guarding, that they're not going to guard. Because Strus is saying, Jason Tatum, you can't have the ball because I'm going to jump double you, or I'm going to just play center field here with my back to the inbound, and wherever the ball goes, I'm going to jump that. Well, I love that because he prohibited them from getting the ball on the first look to Jason Tatum. They could not. They just said no.
Right.
Marcus Smart was really his only option.
Yeah.
So he inbounds to Marcus Smart, who, remember, against Philadelphia, he left one short. So he just said, I'm going to take a dribble, and I'm going to shoot this. It's a fadeaway. It's a little bit of a desperation shot. Maybe not his best shot, but he shot it pretty well. He actually shot it pretty well.
I thought it was going in.
Okay, it had a chance. Okay, so here it is, and whoops, there he is, and he shoots it pretty well, but there goes Derrick White. He went along the sideline to the corner, and then at the last second, he's like, well, why shouldn't I just crash the boards? So he crashes the boards, and Strus, who's got other responsibilities, can't get there.
Right, he's late. He's chasing.
But he was close. Listen, if you look closely at this, Strus almost gets his hand on the ball.
Yeah.
It's very close. It's like an inch away from touching the basketball. Would it have been a foul over the back? Maybe. I don't know. He came close. He came close. Okay. And yet, Shannon, in real time, I swear to you, I thought it was late. It just I don't know what you thought. My initial emotion was, my shock factor was, it's late.
Yeah. I was like, is it good?
Miami, I'm like, Miami won. I'm jumping up and down. Hazel's, my little Maltese, is out of her mind because I'm jumping up and down. They won. No, wait. What?
Derrick White was emphatic that it was good.
And so was all the referees. The one referee was like, boom.
Yes.
It's good. And I said, well, you got to review it. And they're like, we don't need to review it. We saw it. And they were exactly right.
They were.
He got it away.
He did.
And it wasn't really a tip-in. He actually caught it and just laid it up off the glass, which is, you'd be pushed in your head and your psyche to just go try to tip it to beat the buzzer. But to his credit, and if you tip it, you got a chance of missing it.
Yes.
But he caught it and banked it, and it was perfect.
Yep.
Derrick White, once a San Antonio Spur. And it's the guy, I once told you back the first year they had DeMar DeRozan when they were playing the Nuggets in the first round. They lost in 7 games. I kept coming in every day saying, is this guy a star or what?
Right.
And you said, I don't know if I can see a star here.
Right.
And now I read a big Brian Windhorst piece. No, it wasn't. It was Baxter Holmes' piece, I think, on ESPN.com. But the point was that he's got quotes in there where they're saying he's the most underrated player in the NBA.
Right.
Because he led all guards in block shots.
Right.
He defends. He made, second team All-NBA defense, okay?
Yeah. I think, but Skip, the biggest thing is when Joe Mazzulla challenged whether or not it was a foul. So now they go back, they can look at everything. They can review how much time is on the clock also, Skip. Okay. So now you went from 2.1 all the way to 3. 2.1, the game's over. Okay, that did help. Although I will remind you, I can't give Joe Mazzulla huge credit for that. It was the obvious way to go at that point because you might as well try. Right. But they were going to have to stop and look at it anyway because it was unclear whether it was a 2 or a 3. Right. Because when he first shot it, I thought it was a 2. But then clearly, upon further review, Jimmy Butler got both feet behind the line on the 3-point foul. I don't know if we were showing that or we have that, but on the 3-point foul, he's got his feet behind the line. So it's actually a 3-point foul. Yes. And the NBA said this was definitely a foul. Okay, so help me out. Wouldn't they have stopped to go look at 2 or 3 and then decided, wait a second, the foul actually occurred at the 3-second mark as opposed to 2.1, and they would have gone ahead and put 0.9 back on. Right. I didn't have any problem with that because it deserved to be 3 seconds. It was not 2.1. And that's the thing, Skip. The whole objective of a replay is to get it right. You can't say, leave it to human element when when they get it right and the call goes against you. You got to roll with it. As long as they get the call right, you ride whatever call it is. Okay. So now I look at how this game unfolded. And I look at the first quarter. Shannon, I thought it was going to be a blowout, a Celtic blowout in the first quarter because Jaylen Brown, as he is wont to do, he comes out and makes 5 out of 6 shots in the first quarter, and it just felt like they were making everything. Yeah. Even Jason Tatum made 2 out of 5 at that point. And yet, guess what happened? Caleb Martin happened. Playoff Caleb. It's not playoff Jimmy, it's playoff Caleb because Caleb Martin's been extraordinary. So he goes 5 of 6 and made both of his threes, and all of a sudden he canceled out Jaylen Brown. Yes. And all of a sudden, it's not a wipeout. It's a 5-point game after a quarter. Then I look at the second quarter,
and Jason Tatum makes 5 out of 8 shots and made all 6 of his free throws. He scores 16 points in the second quarter, and I'm thinking, wipeout, blowout.
Nope.
Guess what? Gabe Vincent scored 11. And so they cling to, they actually won the second quarter by a point. How could that be? And so I look at the first half stats, and somehow Jason Tatum has scored 25 points. He hasn't made any threes, but he scored 25 points. My papers are stuck together here. And yet it's only a 4-point game, and I'm saying I don't know how. The Celtics do keep turning the ball over, and at the end, it was 12-5 in turnovers, and the Heat played a flawless floor game because they only turned over 5 times.
That's what almost got them in trouble. They had 6 turnovers in the third and fourth quarter, third and fourth. Total 4 in the third and 2 in the fourth.
Okay, and then we get to the third quarter, and Jason Tatum comes up empty. He goes 0 for 3 and 0 for 2 from 3, and yet guess what was happening on the other side, Shannon Sharpe? Would you believe in the third quarter, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo combined to go 1 for 13. Shouldn't it have been over? Well, it was over at one point because with 3:23 left in the third quarter, the Celtics were up by 13, and I just thought, game over, wipe out, right? And yet they hung on, and they only lost the third quarter by 3, and here we went into the fourth quarter in which Jimmy Butler, it took a long time, but he eventually took it over. And he did score in the fourth quarter 14 points. Well, that's pretty good, right?
15
points, yeah. 15 points in the fourth, and then that happened at the end. So my biggest takeaway is that the Boston Celtics actually did blow a game that the Heat did not deserve to win. That's what happened, because now I get to my biggest takeaway. This was the luckiest carom on a missed shot I have ever seen. In all my years of watching, studying, observing the NBA, you know and I know what can happen off a missed shot.
Yeah, it can go anywhere.
Things. It can go anywhere. It can grab some iron, some back iron. It can boing. It can go right sideways. It's a big round hoop, and the ball rolled around it, and it came off soft because he shot it softly, and it dropped like it was a pass to Derrick White for a layup. It was like a perfect assist. It was almost like Marcus Smart should get an assist on the play because he shot it so perfectly, it lipped right to him. And the luck factor is extraordinary because it kept the Miami Heat from going to the NBA Finals. They finally stood up for themselves, especially Jimmy, and he made the 3 free throws, and it's a 1-point game with 3 seconds left, and I thought, you know what, they're going to do this. And then when Marcus Smart took the shot, I thought, he's not going to make it. He can't. To your point, it looked pretty good.
Because they shot it from the back angle. I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. Then as soon as it lipped, I had a split second of euphoria because I thought, well, it's 3 seconds left. There can't be any time left, even for a catch and layup shot.
Yeah, but the thing was, Skip, is that Jason, I was like, okay, there go Jason Tatum. But I was like, nah, he on the wrong side of the basket. So he's not going to be able to do anything because he flashes. And the next thing you know, here comes Derrick White. I forgot that Derrick White was the inbounder. Because I'm like, where the hell did he come from?
He was the inbounder. And again, they didn't mean to guard him. They didn't mean to screen him. They didn't mean to box him out.
Because, Skip, once Strus fakes to take Jason Tatum away, he's already out of position.
Okay. Well, but that was his job.
That was his
assignment.
Yeah, he did make sure you take JT away.
Yes.
And now he's out of position. You can't be mad at him because you'd have been really mad at him, Skip, if he'd allowed Jason Tatum to get that ball and get a shot off that beats you. We give you specific instructions. Do not let Tatum get the ball. He did his job. He did his job too well.
He did it too well. But you would think with 3 seconds left, there would not be time.
Right.
But it had gotten put back on the clock, and it was just barely timed, but it was perfectly timed.
The thing was is that Marcus Smart shot that ball so quick. I mean, he got it and turned around. He didn't do a whole lot with it, and he got it up. But I think it seems to me that you and I came to the same conclusion. This game shouldn't have been that close. No. Boston had this game in the bag and almost tricked it off.
Hey, it would have been the all-time Celtic shame if they had blown a 9-point lead with 3 minutes left. And it would have been an all-time shame if they had held Jimmy Butler to 3 for 19 and then let him in 2 minutes just take the game over. Reminiscent of Jason Tatum at Philadelphia, where he was a no-show until about 2 minutes, right?
And then would he go for 16, 19 points in the fourth?
And it came like, it was actually maybe 4-ish minutes when he finally made the 3 over Embiid. But this was 2 minutes of just salvo from playoff Jimmy, the same playoff Jimmy we had not seen since game 2.
But Skip, if you notice, when they were doing that comeback, Duncan Robinson couldn't miss. He had 2 cracks. He had point blank.
He had 2. No, they were 2 wide open. He's much better with a hand in his face. But if you give a backup player, a role player, a shot to take you to the NBA
Skip,
Finals.
he shot like a free throw. We're showing it now, Skip. They threw him the ball. He caught it, took a dribble like it was a free throw.
Yep, he did. And then he had another one that was even more wide open. It was just ridiculous.
Just look at this.
Look at this. And he even took a dribble. And I think he knew it when he let it go. It was a little wide.
It's too much time. Because he would never do that in a normal situation. Skip, you're not fit to catch the ball and bounce it like you at the free throw line and shoot it. He should have just he thought about it.
That was for the NBA Finals.
Yep.
And he missed 2 of them.
Yep.
And you dodged and dodged and dodged.
Yeah. But you know it's over tonight, though, right?
I don't know.
You know it's over. You know deep down inside. You know it. Hazel know it. Ernestine know it. And everybody in your complex know it because you're going to be screaming.
Yeah. They heard
at about 8 o'clock tonight.
I'm surprised somebody didn't call the cops.
Nah, you look at Ernestine, they call the cops because he laid you out.
That's true.
Guys, I wonder how much Jimmy Butler has left in the tank.
He played 47 minutes, Skip.
Yeah, he played a lot. Post-game, though, he was typical playoff Jimmy. He had all the confidence and swagger about Game 7. We'll find out tonight. It could be historic.
He better drink a lot of that old big face coffee he got. Yeah. he need whatever the large is, whatever side they use, he need a gallon of it.
I'm sure he is refueling with whatever latest, greatest techniques they have for recovery. No doubt about that. All right, Shannon, how confident are you the Celtics can complete the comeback and make history tonight? Let's discuss that on the other side of this break. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.